This week, the UK Parliament debated whether to give British soldiers immunity from prosecution for crimes in the north of Ireland. But with a new film exposing alleged British government involvement in a plan for a massacre at a Catholic primary school, is the government initiative about concealment and collusion rather than justice? Joining me now is Sean Murray, director of the new film Unquiet Graves. Sean, thanks so much for coming on. Before we even get to the amazing film you've made, your response to Labour and Tory defence officials, some rowing back from Labour, appearing to promote immunity for UK soldiers for alleged war crimes.
This is the irony. There always has been immunity. There's always been an amnesty. So where we come from in the north of Ireland, it makes little odds. There's never been a single prosecution or a single sentence that's been served by a British soldier during the conflict. So we have no confidence either way, whether it'll happen now or not. Of course, there won't be any British soldier that will go to jail. I have no confidence in that.
Let's be clear, the 10-year amnesty or statute of limitations being discussed at the moment right now in Parliament would mean, in your film Unquiet Graves, they'd all go scot-free for the, 120 deaths in the triangle you depict?
Well, 120 plus that we know about in regards to just this series of killings, the Glenanne gang. But with regards to amnesty, there's a broad consensus within nationalism that there should be no amnesty, that prosecutions should be taken against whoever was involved in any criminal murders during the conflict, whether that's state actors or non-state actors.
OK, well, the DUP got Theresa May into power. Just go through what happened in Beleeks in County Armagh, what you've discovered about a Catholic primary school, and ironically how it was the DUP's paramilitary wing that may have saved the school children.
Yeah, well, what happened in January, I have to give a bit of context to it. So what happened was on the 4th of January 1976, there was two attacks on two Catholic households, and they tried to wipe out the two families. So you had the Reevy family in Whitecross in County Armagh, and you'd also the O'Dowd family. And there was 3 Reevy brothers killed in that attack, and also in the O'Dowd family, there's 3 members of the O'Dowd family also. So that was 6 Catholics that was killed in one night. And what you had, and this is the dramatic arc in the film, this is what we build up to, is the next night you had 10 Protestant workmen killed in Kingsmill. There was an attack by IRA members in Kingsmill. Now, we can debate whether the IRA sanctioned that killing or not, but it was IRA members that were involved in the killing of those innocent Protestants. And what happened to that, after that, was that the Glenanne gang, for their next act, and this was being run by British military intelligence, what they wanted to do was create something so serious that it would spill into civil war, where they could have a gloves-off approach to the IRA, a conventional war against the IRA. It was very, very frustrating that the successful IRA attacks at the time, particularly in this area, South Armagh. They wanted to go in, the Glenanne gang, to go into a Catholic primary school and kill all the primary school children in the school and their teachers.
Now, there is a master strategy here, as you say, British involvement at the top. The British soldier Kitson, responsible for the Mau Mau in Kenya catastrophe. Just go through how you explain it in the film, these phrases, poisoning the water and the inability to catch fish.
Well, the classic counterinsurgency strategy, and the architect, of course, was Frank Kitson, was to go into the likes of, he was the architect of what happened in Kenya with the Mau Mau. Also, we can run right back to Malaya. And what it was to go into these communities. So if you take the north of Ireland, for example, is to go in, pick one side, a side which you think would benefit you more, and use the death squads, counterinsurgency squads, to target the other community. And this is what happened in the north of Ireland. We had right-wing death squads, loyalist paramilitaries, which attacked innocent Catholics to remove support from the IRA. But of course, violence begets violence. This doesn't happen, and it wouldn't happen in any conflict. You have people then running into the arms of the IRA.
Because all these people are not people connected to the IRA that the British security apparatus are murdering in the hope that they will somehow lose favour, that the IRA would lose favour. Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister, said a few years ago that the trouble should be compared to the fight against Al-Qaeda. And what do you think of how British politicians talk about the troubles in that context? Because, of course, Labour and Conservative parties supported rendition, alleged torture, illegal war, obviously, and control orders for internment that we got back in this country after 9/11.
Well, I think in many ways, I would have to agree with Gordon Brown. I don't like when the conflict in Ireland or the struggle in Ireland is some kind of parallel to the word Al Qaeda. But I agree with one thing, that they learned an awful lot about the torture activities, the activities of what went on in the north of Ireland, and they were able to continue. There was a continuation of that of what happened then in Afghanistan and Iraq.
But what are the Irish government hiding? It was just last week that we had the 45th anniversary of the Dublin Monaghan bombs, where 300 were injured and 33 dead. Initially, reports were saying the IRA. Very little reporting to this day of anything about the Dublin Monaghan bombs. Why is Leo Varadkar still refusing to release secret files on those bombs?
Well, the McEntee RK, which was an investigation that was carried out in 2004, has still not been released. This was challenged by Justice for the Forgotten, which is an advocacy group for the Dublin Monaghan bombings.
Which feature in your film.
Which feature in the film. And they lost that court appeal against the Irish government.
But what do you think the Irish government is?
But
collusion with the Irish government?
Well, I must make an important point. I think that the families at the minute don't want to muddy the waters because the real information lies with the British government. And they're currently taking a case against the British government in the High Court in Belfast. And I think that will galvanise then what happens with the Irish government. So it's an important point to make, actually.
Obviously, the UVF ended up claiming responsibility for that bomb. But do you think there's any way that we'll find out what happened?
All I can do as a filmmaker is continue to be an advocacy for the victims and survivors. And try to attain the truth, but there's not much public confidence in the British government ever releasing those documents. Better still, I know that there's some documents that have been used in my film, which have been redacted since I've seen them in Kew Gardens. So they're continuing still to.
Since the film, they've been redacted, the sources.
Since I've seen those documents.
Some of those all the more important to watch the film,
exactly.
Arguably. But your next film, I understand, is going to be about the government scientist David Kelly, who told the famous source who said that the Iraq War was justified in a pack of lies. That's going to rely on documents too that aren't released.
Of course, yeah. Well, you know, I think we're pretty confident now that the details that have been released around Dr. Kelly's death are very, very suspicious. So I don't want to go into too much about the film because obviously it's very, very sensitive. But I think there are issues there that need to be dealt with and need to be highlighted within the film.
Sean Murray, thank you.